So well, ladies and gentlemen, today we are just hanging out. It's a nice kickback day for the photo booth operators right here today. My name is David Rodriguez. Right over here we have Victor. I'm gonna let Victor introduce himself and just tell you a little bit about himself. What's up, Victor?
How's it going, guys? My name is Victor. I'm a 360 photo booth operator down in Santa Ana. If you guys don't know where that is, that's like Orange County next to Anaheim, Disneyland area. So yeah, I've been in the game for a little over a year now. Definitely have some experience as well. Met David a while ago. We just kept in contact and now I'm here today kicking it with him, yeah.
Yeah, just chilling, bro. How was the drive over here?
Wasn't too bad, to be honest. I feel like the way back is gonna be a lot worse.
Yeah.
But shouldn't be too bad, yeah.
One thing that I really wanted, the reason why I wanted to do this interview with you is because, one, you're young. And this doesn't mean, guys, that I'm I'm not discriminating. But the reason I'm captivated is because when I was Victor's age, I was trying to do what's called soul searching. I had so many jobs by the time I was 20 years old, and that's how you are, right, Victor?
Yeah.
So by the age of 20, I'd already had like 10 plus jobs. And so in my mind, I was like, let me talk to Victor, what's going on in his brain, being like a newer generation, and just cover the photo booth industry questions and also maybe some insights as far as what he sees. And maybe even Victor can flip the script and interview me and ask me some questions, brother. But is this your very first business, brother?
Yeah, it is. It is, man, yeah. First one. I think, honestly, we're not crazy huge yet, but I think for the first one, I made profit, a good amount. Definitely learned some new things when it comes to just business in general. So if I ever want to build a new one, I definitely have some experience from this one that can help me go a long way, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say so far it's been successful. Met some connections, primary example. So yeah, it's been great.
So it being your first business and you came in with zero experience, tell me about the launch process. Tell me about the beginning struggles of a photo booth entrepreneur.
Man, so the first thing was, obviously I didn't know nothing about business. Like how to start either an LLC or the DBA. I didn't even know what DBA was, right? So first things first was research, a ton of research, right? I remember I first found out about the 360 was from my aunt and uncle. It was like Thanksgiving like area, right? And then we were outside in the carne asada.
Nice.
And then they brought it up. They're like, "Oh, have you guys seen this 360 photo booth? They're really popular." And I was like, "360 photo booth? What's that?" And then I saw a video and I was like, "That looks pretty cool, you know?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah," and because my aunt, she's a event decorator, an event planner.
Okay.
So she has her own business, and then she's like, "Yeah, like they make good money." And I was like, "How much they make?" And she's like, "Oh, like 500 per event." I was like, 500 to me. I was like 19.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, 500 per event per day. That's crazy money for me. So yeah, and then I searched it up. I found you. You were like one of the main people I found. And I just binged all your videos, bro. Like from the beginning, from the first one, like very first one to the most recent one you had posted.
Okay.
And then I just searched up like, oh, what's a DBA? How to create a DBA? What do I need to create a business in Orange County and stuff like that? And yeah, man, just learned and made some mistakes along the way, but we're here now. So
the first thing that you were blown away by is like $500 in one day, right? So that captivated you right away. And then you decided, okay, now I'm gonna formulate a plan. And you thought of a DBA and an LLC first, right?
Yeah.
Did you get a lot of your foundation when it came to the business concept of starting a business from some of the YouTube videos, or did you go through other sources on how to get started the right way versus just buying the equipment, going out there and ignoring all the things that could potentially happen that can really hurt your business?
Yeah, so I think like one of the main things I did was just first focusing on the 360 booth itself and knowing what do I need to start it, what do I need to take it out, what do I need to collect payment, and then what do I need to put myself out there, right?
Yeah.
So for you, it was Google Business Profile. That was like the main thing. And then obviously I'm young, Instagram, TikTok, all those platforms. But yeah, and then when it came to actually establishing my business with the county and everything, I searched up like CPAs or like accountants, not accountants, but like the people who like who work with business.
Okay.
So yeah, I searched up them, and then they explained the process, like LLC versus DBA. Okay. What's the difference, benefits, cons of both. And yeah, and then in the end, I decided to go with the DBA. Just because LLC to start it, couple grand, you know, off the rip. And then me, since it's my first one, I was kind of scared. Yeah. Like, what if I just create an LLC? I don't go nowhere with it. I just wasted a couple bands. Yeah. Plus, what I'm gonna waste on the equipment. So I was like, yeah, I'll just start off with a DBA.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, you did your research. What was the most intimidating first step that you had to take? Was it you spending a couple grand? Was it you telling your parents, I'm gonna commit to this? Like, what was, because what I want to know is some people don't get started. They stay on the sideline watching everyone in the game for too long. Yeah. And they always have a valid reason on why they haven't gotten started. But I think it's always going to be based off fear, right? Yeah. So what would you say was a fear that you had to overcome, one, as a young college student?
Yes.
College student, like, what was it for you, if there was anything?
Yeah, dude, I was young, I was 19.
Okay.
I didn't have much money, right? I was working at a regular W2 job. Still am, but so for me, dropping like $2,000 on equipment and stuff like that just right away, it was huge. It was very scary, dude, very scary. And then plus, I had barely got on a car, right? So I had that payment, and it's like, man, I've $2,000 off the rip, just gone from my account like this. Yeah. Dude, that was crazy scary.
That's funny.
But yeah, and then I would say like that was the biggest thing, just like letting that money go.
Yeah.
To buy the assets to generate more money.
Wow. Yeah. That's powerful, because I can imagine myself looking at my bank account having like $2,700, and then all of a sudden my bank account only has like $700.
Dude,
and you're so proud of having $2,700 because it probably took you a year, depending on your situation, to acquire that much money, right? And you tell yourself, man, I have like over $2,000 on my bank account. I'm not a millionaire, but I'm a thousandaire. Like, I feel good. I could walk into a restaurant and be like, I'm gonna be all right. I got this. But for you to say, this money's coming back to me, I just gotta let it go for a little bit, but it's gonna come back to me. That is, I think, what a lot of folks need to just continuously program themselves to feel and think, meaning like, money makes money. Scared money doesn't make money.
Exactly.
I'm gonna let this money go into the universe and let it boomerang back to me, because that's why I need to take this chance. Yeah. Right? So you had ambition and hunger. Okay, so now you've been invested in equipment, right? Your parents probably know by now, like, are you the oldest, the youngest? The
youngest.
You're the youngest? Yeah. Wow, so right away they probably will be like, are you sure? And then your background, like Hispanic parents?
Yeah.
You know,
Mexican.
Hispanic parents, it either goes two ways, right? Like, be careful, you know, like it might not work out for you.
Exactly.
And if they don't come from a business background or entrepreneurship, they're probably gonna tell you, play it safe. And I think not just Hispanics in general, but I think anyone that doesn't come from a business background or entrepreneurship will want their kids to be safe. So do you feel like you had the support when you launched this business?
I mean, being completely honest, my parents, I love my parents, right? They did support me, but they were more on the safe side. Like, they've always told me, go to school, get a degree. You don't need to do, you don't, just get a good job and be safe, you know? Yeah. Get a good job, get a family.
The traditional route.
Yeah, just traditional. You don't need to be up here. You can be right here, you know?
But you want to be up here and then get here.
Exactly. For me, it's always like, you know, next year, I'm right here, next year I want to be here, and then here, and then here, and then here. Because for me, it's always about self-improvement, keep growing. But yeah, and so they supported me, don't get me wrong, they did.
Okay.
But on the back of my head, I always had their voices like, oh, maybe I just need to go to school. Maybe I do need to just forget about this and then focus on my degree, you know? But then my dad sat me down, he talked to me, and he was like, look, if you want to do this, we support you, but just keep in mind it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. And if you fail, well, like, it's on you. You know, you're the one who want to started it. If you fail, it's on you. We're going to be here to, like, love you and care for you.
Nice.
But it's just, you're a grown up now. You know what you're doing.
That's, I think you're fortunate. I would ask you, how would it feel to not have any support and just be completely on your own? But asking you that question would be unfair because it would be difficult for you to comprehend, right?
Exactly.
But for me, I can tell you that it got to a point, bro, where I didn't want to share information with people that I was going to launch this business, that business, because some of my first businesses didn't blossom, didn't do so well. So then it sucks when you have people in your circle that say, I told you so. And sometimes these people are related to you. They're like immediate family or, you know, just very close relatives. So it gets to a point where you just kind of want to work in the dark and then just do all the work. And then 6 months later, like, what the heck? When did that? It's like, you didn't believe in me? That's fine. I believed in myself. I had this vision and I was able to bring this vision into the reality. And now you guys can see it for yourselves, what I was thinking in my brain 6 months ago. So for anyone watching this video that doesn't have a spouse, doesn't have a family, and you want to get started on something that is calling you, there's absolutely no way that you can lose. And there really isn't no way that you can lose unless you completely give up. That's when you lose. So just know that if something compels you, move towards it and see where it leads, and don't half-ass it, like really go hard. So Victor, now you got started, you have your equipment, your family knows what's the deal. Tell me about the struggles of getting your first event, and tell me about the excitement of getting your first paid event. Okay,
so my first event, bro, it was you. You posted on your story, I'll have this event, I can't take it on, DM me if you can take it on, right?
Shit, okay.
So I was following you from the beginning, right? I watched you on YouTube from the beginning, followed your Instagram account. And then to me, it was kind of like a sign from the world, the universe.
Okay.
It's like, you know, I found this guy months ago and like I've been researching him, and then I started my own thing. And then like a month later, here he is with a free event, you know? And so I immediately, as soon as I saw it, I texted you. I was like, hey, I'm a new operator here in Anaheim and Santa Ana area. My name is Victor. I'll be a pleasure to work with you, right? And then you're like, oh, let me give you the latest number.
Okay.
And so I reached out to her, and we talked. And then she wanted the cold sparkles though, like off the bat.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't offer the cold sparkles yet. And she was bummed. But then I talked to her, and then we got the booked event.
Okay.
And my mom, I had picked up my mom from work, and I was taking her back home, and that's when I called the lady, and she was there listening to the whole conversation, and she watched me close that deal. She watched me book that first event, right? And man, I was nervous, dude, because I've never like been like on the phone trying to talk to people, sell something like that.
Yeah.
So to me, everything was brand new, and so seeing my mom watch me close that event. In my head, it was like she's gonna watch me. She's gonna see like that I'm serious about this, and that I'm gonna succeed in the future. Like I'm gonna make it because I'm serious about this. And then, and I closed that event, and I was so excited, dude. I had to pull over to a gas station, bro, and I started like I was like, Ma. I did it, Ma. I booked the first event. And like she was so confused. She was like, what?
Yeah.
And and so like the event came, I took my friend Jesse. He helped me out with his truck for the first event.
Okay.
He went with me. We killed it. And then
the 2-hour event?
Yeah, the 2-hour event.
Okay.
Yeah, we killed it. And dude, just that whole first experience, bro, it was amazing. Just like seeing the people's reaction when they get off the booth and they see the video. Yeah. Dude.
Right.
Insane. Yeah.
That's crazy. I got a little bit of goosebumps on that one, bro. One, because how you expressed how excited you were and nervous by closing that over the phone.
Yeah.
And not just that, but you weren't alone. Your mom was like on the passenger side, tuned in to a glimpse of your future. like this is what my son's gonna be doing, is gonna be closing people over the phone. That equals events, then that's what he's in the business for, is to get as many events as possible. So, okay, so now you're booked, the event took place, it's done, the money is in your bank account. So at first you were negative $2,000, and within, how long did it take you to get your first event?
Like around a month.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
So it only took close to a month, and now that money comes in. How did that feel when that money hit your bank account?
Well, first of all, it was cash.
It was cash.
Right? It was
Okay.
cash. So I got it right there, like right after the event finished. She handed it to me. Said she loved everything and that she'd keep in touch.
Okay.
Right. So when I got that envelope, I opened it and I was like, damn, like $500 for 2 hours of my work.
I know, man.
Dude, I was like, I make this much in like a week and a half at my other job.
Yeah.
You know, so the fact that I was able to do that in 2 hours, well, 4 hours set up and take down.
Yeah.
But still, like 4 hours.
Yeah, you're making over $100. Yeah, about $125 an hour.
I was making 16.
Yeah,
in my other job.
an hour.
So it was just very eye-opening to me.
Okay.
And it's like I didn't have to be stuck there forever.
Yeah. How much of a confidence booster was that event for you?
Huge.
Right.
Huge. After that, I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can really do this. Yeah. And then after that, it was just a snowball effect.
Okay. Now you did say that in the beginning she was set on the cold sparks, right? I want you to share with everyone how you were able to kind of persuade her to say, I'll still book you without the cold sparks. And then I also want you to just share your point of view of how did it feel to not be able to provide a service that the consumer wanted and you weren't able to solve a certain problem and you weren't able to capitalize on it? Like, how did you adjust?
So, you know, the cold sparks they're really popular. They're really cool to have in your production. But one of the main things I told her was like, oh yes. Well, the first thing I asked her was, will you be having us inside or outside? And she said inside, right? So I was like, oh, okay, like that's completely fine. We can do the 360 photo booth inside as well as haze. So not the dense fog, but just a lighter one so it won't mess up the production. And I was like, we can still have the red carpet and everything. But for the cold sparkles, do you have high ceilings or low ceilings? And she's like, oh no, they're like pretty low. They're like regular ceilings.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, so here's the thing. Even if you wanted cold sparkles, you wouldn't be able to have them inside inside your...
Not enough clearance.
Yeah, not enough clearance.
Right.
Because either one, even if you decide to, the sparks will leave damage on your roof and the ceiling. Right?
True. Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I didn't even like think they went that high, you know? And so I was like, so here's what I can do for you. And I gave her a $50 discount.
Nice.
Just to close that deal, you know?
Nice.
They love discounts.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I was like, but for you, we'll still take everything. Fog machine, carpet, the stanchions, high quality videos and things like that. And yeah, she was like, you know what, like, it's not like I can have cold sparkles either way. So she's like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's rock, yeah.
Yeah, and then she actually, that same first client, I just did another event for her last Friday.
Yeah.
And that was for her cousin's 60th birthday. And then again, for her annual Halloween party, she's already getting me for October.
Look at that, dude.
So yeah.
So I share with people this information and I tell them, always treat your client like it's gonna be your first and last client. Give them your very best, whether it's the presentation, production, customer service, the follow-up, and the follow-up after the follow-up. Meaning like after you're done with the event, follow up with them, maybe like a highlight video, thank them, send them a solid thank you email. And what ends up happening is now they see you as their dedicated representative.
Yeah.
And we represent the photo booth industry, and how many parties go on an annual basis where our services need to be provided. So one client that magically, I guess, came from me to you through social media, which is another thing, social media to network, led to 1, 2, 3 more events.
3 events.
And let's just run the math just real quick, about $1,500 with that client for like the year. 2 hour, and it's amazing. So if people are coming into the business just as a side hustle and they don't have the customer service to stand behind, like the actual service, not just as a standalone service, but after that, then chances are the consumer will pick up on that and then they'll feel like a number.
Exactly.
And you don't want that. Like I spend, believe it or not, some of my clients, I spent like 18 minutes on the phone with them, just talking to them. Just talking about random stuff. and then when I get off the phone, I was like, oh, I was on the phone for 17 minutes, 20 minutes. And I think to myself, you know what? It's like it feels like organic. It doesn't feel like just business.
Yeah.
They understand it's business, but I also want to make sure that I build rapport and get to know them at a personal level, because it's all about networking, Victor. And if you already know them personally, they know you, they're gonna be your marketing campaign, walking around the world, walking around their workspace. Hey, I know a guy.
Yeah.
Hey, I know the perfect photo booth. Hey, and all of a sudden, like, they start referring clients. So now, this is your first year in business?
Yeah.
Almost full year?
Yeah. Oh, a little past 4 year.
Okay. You have a repeat client. How much of a compliment is it when they call you for a second, third time?
Dude, yeah. So when she called me, it just established that, like, you know, your work,
Yes.
it's quality work.
Precisely.
Right?
Yeah.
So now with future clients, you have that ability to say, like, trust me, clients love our work because they keep coming back. Now you have the ability, you have that, what would you say, that like...
The reputation, the
yeah,
credibility.
the reputation, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that's huge also.
It is. And on top of that, just like I know I say this all the time, you get reviews, get those Google reviews.
People that up the rank.
Yeah, people that enjoy your services at that extent will definitely leave you a Google review. Some people might forget, but if you send a friendly reminder, just letting them know how much it would help you on a grand scale, they're gonna want to help you out.
Yeah.
All right, Victor. So now you're killing it. You have repeat clients. Your business, I'm guessing, is continuously growing gradually but surely, right? You've experienced in slow seasons. Did you experience the slow seasons?
Yes.
How did you deal with that?
During the slow season, when I didn't have many events to go out to, I just honed in and focused on growing and expanding, right? So, like you mentioned, not everyone's gonna want a 360 for their event. People also want digital booths. You know, they also want the new one, the audio guest book.
Yeah.
So I focus on expanding as well, not only getting a second 360 booth, but as well as digital booth that'll be more economical friendly, right? So for smaller events, birthday parties, things like that, and as well as add-ons, audio guest book, the inflatable enclosure. Yeah, so like even when there isn't a busy season for, let's say 360, I can still rent out the economic digital photo booth.
So it sounds like you double down on your business on slow days by doing some research and finding products that can still be in demand, but like you said, more economical to a point where it's people that are sensitive when it comes to the budget. They can still afford a digital booth for like an all-day rental.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that totally makes sense. So you basically diversified during the slow season,
exactly.
right?
So now we're not only catering to one specific demographic, but we're opening a lot more people.
Yeah. So demographics, that's a cool keyword. You're out in Anaheim, Orange County?
Yeah, Orange County area.
Tell me about the demographics. Like, what vibe do you get from your demographics in your area?
Man, so it's really interesting because I'm right next, because where I'm from, Santa Ana, it's not really high income, but it's like kind of medium. So they would prefer more digital photo booth, all-day rentals, because they had a lot of parties, right? But not really big parties, not really like huge parties like that. So I would say more digital photo booth, all-day rentals. But then you have Anaheim right next door to us, which is Disneyland, which is all companies and stuff, and they have the big budgets.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in the sweet spot where it's like best of both worlds. So yeah.
That is a sweet spot. So have you noticed throughout the year now that you've been in business, have you noticed a good mix of individuals, businesses, and corporations both booking you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a certain strategy to each consumer? And what I mean by strategy, like, how do you make sure that you gain a business client and they are forever kind of your business client? Like, do you use a different method from your regular consumer? Do you offer incentives? do you treat them differently? If so, like how do you go about that?
For business clients, like companies?
Yeah.
I would say like the biggest thing with companies, since they meet so many people every day, it's not really like a personal level, because sometimes you're not even dealing with the client, you're dealing with the event coordinator.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So I feel like one of the things there is just your work, your quality work.
Yeah.
Them being able to take your work, high quality videos, and promote it to their websites or to their Instagram pages, and But then with everyday clients, like just families, I feel like there it's the biggest, having rapport with your client, and them being able to refer you to their friends and families. Because the worst thing is me referring a family member to a service, and then them having a bad experience, because that puts it on me. You get me?
Okay.
So yeah, so that's like the things for me.
For me, one thing that I want to share with you and the rest of the world is when you're dealing with a business client or some type of franchise and they have branches throughout California. One cool thing that I was taught by one of my managers when I was a concierge is always send your, like, for example, your bigger business clients a gesture of kindness or appreciation or gratitude. I'll give you an example. Like, I had a large client, and I thought to myself, how cool would it be to be their preferred vendor throughout the annual, because they have an employee appreciation day, they have company parties, they're gonna have a minimum 3 events a year. I wanna say at least minimum. And that for me is just, as a business guy, that's just capital, baby, like Canary Capital Rentals.
Exactly,
So I send them gift baskets. And
really?
Yeah, so what you do is you call, and usually the front desk will pick up the phone, and then they have a purchasing department, they have their HR, they have what's called their marketing department. They have different departments, these bigger corporations. So you always want to ask, who is the point of contact for the marketing department for this branch or this location? And then so you send the gift basket to their main office, but address it to the marketing team. So the marketing team receives that, and then it's like, dude, everyone will be eating chocolates or candy or whatever you sent that day. Be like, who? And they go and they're like, who sent us this? And they'll see, Canary Capital Rentals. Be like, oh, that's
that dude with the crazy 360 photo.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that right there, man. Let's say you spend $50. That is a great investment, and also a write-off.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
Let's just be honest all the way, right?
Yeah.
So that's just something that I feel carries a lot of weight, and it doesn't take too much effort.
Smart.
So that
Definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah, I wanted to share that with you. I don't want to interrogate you with a bunch of questions, but I do want to continue picking your brain a little bit, right? So you experienced in slow season, and you were able to combat that with the variety of different services now, right, that you've added. Yeah. And now you're going on to your second year. What are some goals that you have that you really want to reach, because you've done the math, you've measured, you've gone into analytics, and now you have a reasonable goal, right? For you right now, given the circumstances with the equipment that you have and the team that you're building, what is a goal that you have for this upcoming year?
One of the main goals, because let's be honest, when you're starting a new business, it's gonna take up a lot of your time.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta put in the effort, gotta put in the work, put in the hours, all the researching that goes into it. It takes a lot of time, right? So for me, I feel like one of the main things this year, it's like one of the things you taught me was getting contractors as well, and not only helping your company, but helping them as well, right? Building their business, because one of the main things in this business is just building kind of like a team, building a family. So I definitely want to get contractors, help them increase their business as well. Okay. And I'm just building a good connection with a lot of people.
Okay. So you're understanding right now at a young age that to become financially successful, it's extremely difficult doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
However, you do a lot of the work in the beginning by yourself, so you understand the infrastructure, you understand the process, so when you bring people in, you know exactly what to expect given the amount of work you're putting on their shoulders or on their plate. And now you're at a point where you realize, okay, I have to build a community, I have to build a network of either contractors or employees they're gonna help me get to where I wanna get to, because Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and all these, it requires a massive team, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that experience right now, how you're going through the process of recruiting talent. Let's just put it that way. Tell me a little bit about that.
So yeah, one of the main things is just definitely like looking up 360 photo booth rental near me, and seeing the different companies next to you, right? Seeing your competitors, not really competitors, but also like your friends around you, things like that. Like for me, I had a kind of big event with my first client, right? And for that event was my first event. I hired out contractors, right, to do that event. So it was I hired out a regular photo booth with prints and everything, and then as well as a separate 360 booth company. All right. And so just working with them and like managing, coordinating everything, letting them know the specifications for the overlay, and then confirming the overlays, everything's correct and everything like that. It was really cool, because like you're not putting a ton of work into it, but you're also like making sure you're managing everything and making sure everything's running smoothly, right?
Right.
So yeah, and then as well as you're freeing up a lot of your time, not only to like do whatever you want to do, but also to just invest that time into your business, right? So to grow even more. And so yeah, I want to say the first event that I did with contractors went smoothly. Everything was great. They had a good time. I had a good time. I went to that event just to make sure everything ran smoothly, and to gain that experience. And I was talking with them, meeting them, because I never met them before. But yeah, just building that connection. Shout out to Yolanda, Merritt, and Ivan. Those are my contractors that I
think I know them. They have they're close to me too, right here, right?
Yolanda.
Is it luxury something? Their photo booth luxury or something?
No, it's 360 app.
Okay, no, I don't know them.
360 app, light photo booth.
Cause Yolanda, okay.
Yeah, Yolanda's 360 app.
Okay.
Merritt's light photo booth, and then Ivan is Thunder photo booth.
Thunder photo booth.
Yeah.
Okay, I know Ivan. He's in the Ivan. I gave him props. I was out in Long Beach, and I went on. Every time I'm at a different city, far away from my city, I always go on my Google and type in 360 photo booth to see who's ranking for that keyword in that area. And I think Ivan came in like 3rd place, even though I was in Long Beach and he's like closer to Orange County.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I know Ivan too because he joined the Patreon page.
Oh really?
Yeah. So he's around your age, right? He seems young.
I'm not. I haven't met him in person.
Okay. Yeah.
But I met Yolanda and Mary, and then Ivan. Another guy hit me up for an event that same day that I had. So then I hit up Ivan.
Nice.
And I gave him that event. I got the finder's fee and everything.
All right.
So yeah, so that day I had like 2 events basically that I contracted out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really successful day for me. It's really cool.
Sweet.
A lot of experience.
So that's another confidence builder.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's funny how the first thing is execute the first event with almost 0 mistakes, right? That's a confidence booster. And then another event, your second event, maybe running it for 4 hours with even more attendees, like say you go from 50 to like 200 people, another confidence booster because you did a larger venue. Next level is like, oh wow, they want to rent out the 360 booth and the digital booth. What? I'm gonna make $1,200 in one night?
Dude, yeah.
And then you're done with that event. Confidence booster. And now you're like, okay, boom, boom, boom. Now it's like, okay, I need to hire people, but do I really want to hire people with absolutely no experience? No, I want to look around to see who has the equipment, already has experience, and then just kind of bring them on. And now you're there, and now you were orchestrating a team. So you went from a solopreneur to a director of operations, kind of directing the team as far as, okay, you do this, you do that at this time, X, Y, and Z. So that is another confidence booster because you realize like, okay, I'm good at communicating with people, and I can share my vision and bring it to life, and these are the right people to recruit, right? So now you have a team, you have contractors. You're on the right path, bro.
Hopefully, huh?
Yeah, no, you're on the right path. You're in an area and you're utilizing your resources instead of seeing as competitors. You're starting to see them too as like a potential community where you have to constantly promote your business to be the most relevant business for those keywords. Because if they call you first, you can book them first, and then ask the rest of the folks, hey, who wants to come and make some money with me?
Exactly.
Everybody's gonna want to make money. So with that being said, I can't think of anything else right now, just kind of given like the time that you've been in the business. I feel like this is a very exciting time for you. I feel not only do I see it, but I feel it from you, like that you're hungry and that you're always like, hey David, can I do this, or should I do this? Or like, yeah man, like I can only share stuff that I know that's worked. I can never answer a question if it's something that I've never experienced, because at that point it's like, you're gonna have to figure it out, Victor, and you're gonna have to let me know how that goes.
Yeah.
But you know, congratulations on your expansion. Congratulations on starting a business that was immediately profitable. It sounds like maybe it took you less than 3 months to make all your money back, right?
Honestly, yeah. Probably
Probably close to 3 months.
Around there, 3-4 months.
And then you just kept reinvesting into the business, right? Solid. So at this point, Victor, what are your thoughts? And I'm gonna leave that wide open, because it doesn't necessarily have to tie into the photo booth, but as a person that you're becoming as an individual, what are your thoughts now? Like, what do you see for yourself?
Definitely, honestly, like before I always thought about like starting my own business, but now that I actually done it and it's actually going really good, I'm in love, bro. Like you just become like hungry, you know, like you were hungry before, you become even hungrier. You get to this point and you're like, man, I can go even higher. I can go even farther. And then as well as, it's just fun, man. It's just fun going out to events, showing people a good time, bringing that energy. You know, someone's having a bad day, bro, they meet you, they get their video. Did you go from here to here, bro? And you get to be that person, right? You get to be that. And then last thing is like building that team around you. Is like not only growing yourself, but helping people grow with you. Is like, dude, it's one of the main things in life, you know?
Yeah. So you are at a point right now where you just want to continue to be a leader and kind of lead and let that trickle down into your business, and then that'll equal business growth, right? Are you still in college?
I'm taking a semester off this semester, but
you're never going back, Victor. You're never going back. You said, you know what? The entrepreneur life is for me. Peace out. I dropped out of college.
Yeah,
you too. And then I went back after a few years, but I started another business while I went back, and this other business that I had started was doing well. And instead of taking on more classes, I was taking less classes. Because I didn't want to fail the classes, and then I realized, you know what? I can't give college my so much of my time. I want to continue going through the process of being successful on my own, and just using what I learned in college right away, apply it right away, and just put it into practice right away. Until I'm not gonna wait until they give me a degree and say, okay, David, now you can go do. I just want to be like, no, I thank you so much for this semester. I'm gonna use exactly what I learned in real life, and that was my style. Everyone's a little different.
Yeah, everyone is a little different, but.
Yeah, but yeah, man. So at this point, Victor, what would you like to know? Like, what do you? It sounds like you're always seeking for new information to grow, right? What would be a question that you would have for the community, like for the people that have been in the industry for like a long time?
For the people that have been for a long time, probably just like, how do you keep innovating? Like what do you do to keep innovating and to keep up with for a long time? Because I know a lot of people, isn't it like when you start a new business, 90% fail or something like that? Like a lot of people fail.
Right.
It's like, how do you keep going? How do you stay succeeding? And that's like one of the biggest things. Also, time management. It's just because time management is like a big thing. Okay. And for me, one of the things I've like done to like help me a little bit, it's like contracting someone else for the overlays and small things like that, just freeing up those little hours of my time to focus on the most important things, and as well as getting contractors as well.
So I'll try to answer your questions as best as possible. Just so your second question, I remember it was time management. First question was how do you continue innovating and continue to grow? What was your third question?
It was just those two.
Two questions. So the first one, how do you continue to innovate and grow? A lot of people right now, they're having what's called price wars. There's like pricing competition. So people's way of coming into the business and analyzing the business is this. They'll go online, they'll see how much the guy down the street is charging, they'll check to see what they're offering, and in their mind they say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and be a few dollars underneath this guy, and I'm gonna try to offer more. And then another guy comes into the business and does the same exact thing. So now what's happening is we're all copying the same model, and what ends up happening is we depreciate the business by having these price wars and dropping the price lower and lower and lower. And all of a sudden we did that as a strategy, and later on realized, well, all we did was have a race to the bottom. And now the guy that we thought was the guy to go off of, why did we use his model if he's barely getting by and not being a super profitable business, and he is not what I can say what I want to become? He's just been like in the business probably longer, right? So in my mind, in my eyes, I thought to myself that that's probably not the right ingredients to like put in the soup right now. So instead, what you want to do is, if you play that game, then you're trying to squeeze the amount of profit that you're trying to get from all this competition is going to be so low that there's no way to innovate and there's no way to grow your business. There's no room for innovation because you're too busy with volume and not paying attention to what really gonna help your business grow. Check out the infrastructure. So then that's gonna tie into time management, right? Instead, what you wanna do is you want to be the most expensive business in your area. The reason why you wanna be the premium service provider is because you will start attracting premium clients. And when you attract premium clients, it's easier for them to be emotionally invested into your business because they'll spend extra money. And when they spend extra money, it's gonna sting a little, but because it stings them a little bit, that means they are paying attention to what they're about to receive, and they're gonna be way more grateful than the person that was trying to get your business for free at the lowest possible, and they're always ungrateful and hard to please, and their network of people are not gonna be in line with your goals, which is to be an expanding business in a short term. They'll just have other cheapskates within their party because people attract similar like people, right?
Yeah,
so when you start pricing your prices at a premium, that shows that you're confident about the value you have to bring to the client. And value perception is extremely important in any business. So if I'm charging $600, you're charging $400, right away, if you were shopping, you were thinking like, well, this guy that's charging $600, his service must be much better than the $400. And in actuality, we might just be having the same exact setup, right? And production, but the value is perceived differently because I'm spending an extra $200. Once you acquire those clients, one, because how they're emotionally invested in how much they're spending, right? And two, they're just the way of doing business, they're easier to please, and they're the kind of people you want to network with because they understand business and they know you get what you pay for, right? Now that you're booked by that person, you show up to the event, one, super pumped up. Why? Because you are being compensated at the value that you value yourself as an individual. So you bring your A game.
Yeah.
Two, when you're there, you realized other people are being booked at a much lower rate. I'm not that person anymore. So now that gives me the opportunity to take care of my people. What I mean by that is if you have a staff, if you have contractors, you don't have to shortchange them because you're offered premium services, and that is gonna allow you to scale your business because it's taking less time and you're making more money. Victor, we're not in the business to get as many clients as possible. We're in the business to make as much money as possible. And when people start understanding that it's about making the most money with minimum amount of work, then that's how businesses scale. My biggest mistake when I started my business a few years back was I was that guy looking for that client to say, I could save $5 if I go with David. And so I was that guy for like a couple years. And I always thought to myself, how is it that these people can sleep at night, charging so much when they can charge little and get more clients? That was my mind. And it was valid because that's what I strongly believed. But then I realized they're the ones that have a storefront and they're the ones that are opening up a second store. How? Because they were charging a premium price and they were thinking long-term, and they understood business at a point that I failed to see. I was just trying to get as many clients as possible. They were trying to make as much money as possible. And so then I had to remove my personality and really go in more aggressive as a business entrepreneur and become way more competitive. So to answer your question, how do you evolve and how do you scale? You charge premium pricing. Because when you charge premium pricing, that's who you're gonna attract. And two, that's the value that you're gonna be offering them. So you commit to it, and after that, now you have higher end clients that are not gonna complain and try to get everything for free. That would be my answer to your first question. So what that brings a new set of problems, and that's time management. And time management, your second goal should be, after you're making a profit, your second goal should be, how do I get off of this throne? How do I get off of this chair? How do I pass on the hat to someone else? In the beginning, you mentioned all the work you have to do yourself. From the website creation, to the SEO, to the unloading, to the buying props, to the sanitizing of props, to dealing with the client over the phone, writing up the contracts, sending emails. Bro, the list goes on and on. And all of a sudden you have an event every single week. And it's crazy because we get fixated on, we're making, $200 to $300 an hour. But if we start calculating everything that goes into it, we realize we're making decent money, but we're not really making $250 an hour, right? And once you are conscious and you're aware and you actually make that an important topic in your life, you start addressing it, and you stop kidding yourself. You stop, because you'll tell people ask you, well, Victor, how much money do you make in one night? I can easily make $500. And to them, they're blown away, just like when you heard $500. But now that you're a business owner and you realize how much work goes into it, you realize you're still making good money, but there is a lot of room for improvement as far as efficiency goes. So the second thing you want to do for time management, Victor, is you want to start replacing yourself by other people as fast as you can. First thing is going to be, the administrative work. All the emails, the contracts, you can either do a virtual assistant or hire someone to do that for you, including the overlays. You can have someone do the overlays for you. All of a sudden, boom, you get a booking, and all you have to do now is load up, go to the event, execute, come back, it's done, okay? So then you tell yourself, well, how do I remove myself from this throne, from this chair, and have someone else do it? And then the first thing that's gonna come to your mind is, as an entrepreneur, I don't think no one could do it better than I can. Right? Yeah. And you're always gonna say, it's not possible. I'm the best. So then you start thinking, could this be it? Am I always gonna feel this way? Because how do I grow if I'm not relinquishing some control? And then you realize, no, it was just me and my ego being tied to my business. And then you realize it's okay. I'm gonna put my trust in other people. And so here I go, for example, I was like, hey, I have an event, who wants to take on it? And so then you remove yourself from the operator side, right? And now you have people go in and do your events, and you're crossing your fingers everything goes well. And then you realize not only did you do well, but they left a freaking Google review for your staff, for your contractors, that reflected, your services without you having to be there. And now you have a new confidence level. When we're talking about the levels of confidence, now you're like, now I am in the back end, really owning the business. So what's next? So then now you're like, okay, now I'm gonna focus on marketing. I'm gonna focus on branding, right? And now you're doing that work. And then sooner or later, you get to the point where it's like, okay, I have 4 contractors, averaging a minimum of 4 events every single month. That's a minimum. On the busy end, it's double. It's 8 events a month. And then you start telling yourself, okay, so the marketing is being done by me. I'm just doing little things here and there. Now you find yourself with time. So what does time do? Time's gonna do two things. And I'm only speaking from experience. Everyone's gonna have a different point of view. What time's either gonna do is, if you have idle time, you're gonna think negative thoughts or sex, one of the two. That's just how we're wired as men. It's like, that's why we can't meditate for too long, because then we start thinking of reproducing. That's like just by human design. So you don't wanna be idle for too long, because either gonna, like I said, think negative thoughts or gonna focus on things that are just distractions. So you wanna stay busy as an entrepreneur. And this is why, Victor, a lot of people hit a certain level and it's so comfortable, they become complacent and they lose their ambition and hunger. So what usually people do, the entrepreneurs, what we're gonna do is we wanna go try something new. Like, hey, we got the photo booth thing going, it's running on its own. I can either sell it now because it's running on its own, or I can go do something else and it'll still be okay. I can use some of this capital to fuel another venture.
Yeah.
And so what happens is you go fuel another venture. And a lot of people are gonna think, I'm gonna go do real estate just because I know that real estate is just the way to go. And you could do that. I can't say it's not gonna bring any money because I haven't done it, but instead, why not challenge yourself? And if you're making, let's say you yourself, Victor, are making, let's say, anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000 working part-time because you're the owner of the business.
Yeah.
You might say, like, David, I'm in a comfortable place. I think I'm gonna stay here for a while. But don't say that that's the max that you can do for your business if you haven't started a second business, a second photo booth, and have actually duplicated that exact same model, and now you're making $120,000 working close to full time. So if you can do that, it's better that you take your time and energy and resources that you've already acquired to do the exact same thing at a different location. And then that's a point where you can tell yourself, like, do I want to do a third one, a fourth one? I know how to do this. I know the formula. I know the infrastructure. This is something that I can do because it's easy and I know it, and it's become a boring business to me. But because it's become boring to you, that means you somehow kind of mastered it because it's boring. It's easy for you to do. So why not duplicate that model? And that's just my thoughts, Victor. Like, how I'm seeing business now. It's like, what do I want to do next? Because as entrepreneurs, we're always after that high. And that high means, like, what can I go do? What could I go invest to make a greater return? And so we do a lot of risky things, and we don't stop to really, like, sit down and see it through and go through the challenging times again, and seeing something, like, little by little start to blossom into, like, a tree. So that's where I'm at. And people ask me too, like, David, what do you want to do next? Well, I'm not done yet. Like, I can't say that I'm done just yet because there's things in the business that I haven't achieved. There's other photo booth companies that are making $250,000 because not only do they provide services, but they're also, like, they sell booths, for example. They import, export, and all that stuff. There's room in the industry to do other things. But yeah, dude, just wanted to share that insight with you and hope that maybe some of it will hit. So.
Yeah, definitely a lot of valuable information right there, bro. Valuable information.
So do what your heart desires, but as an entrepreneur, I think it's important for us to stay focused on one thing at a time instead of looking for that high or that dopamine hit. And it could be like, you know what? Since I don't have to be at the business and I'm making this much money, I think every month I'm gonna do swing trading. I'm gonna trade stocks. I'm gonna start off with $2,000 and see how that goes. And you get what I'm saying? Like, you're always looking for ways to make money, but if you found a vehicle that makes money for you, why not amplify it? Why not put it on steroids and really, really grow it?
That's true.
Yeah. And like I said, you can always sell the business and then go start a secondary business and then sell that business as well. So you can also take on that role. Do you feel, are you getting to a comfortable state? Which brings about complacency. It's a scary place to be at right there because we can stay there for a few months just because we have systems in play. And now we're thinking, what do we all try to do, Victor? We went into entrepreneurship and own our own business for the reason that we wanted what? Freedom.
Yeah.
And now that we have the freedom, isn't it scary that too much freedom is unhealthy? It just gives you too much time to ponder, and it could lead to destruction. which is really important, why you should be tuned into things that are gonna motivate you and things that are gonna give you perspective, and hang around with people that are doing better than you, so that you can ask them questions when you feel just a little lost, because you don't know anyone else in your circle that you grew up with that is in a position that you want to acquire. So it's important to have that community.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, man.
So like you always have someone to like push you a little farther, a little farther, a little farther, so you don't get that complacent, you know?
Yeah, I had my business mentors. One, he just blew up. Like he's in a different time zone. And then my other business mentor, like he passed away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, super freaking awesome, incredible person. And now I'm in my late 30s, and now my mentors are just podcasts and books, Victor. So I hope that the universe can answer some of my prayers and bring about more people in my life that are gonna help me continuously, grow in one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. But don't cry, Victor. It's not supposed to be sad. Just kidding, dude. Yeah, man.
Even when you're just sitting down, I feel like as an owner, you're still always like in the back of your head, you're still always thinking of like new ways, new ideas to do, and to grow your business. Even when you're just like sitting down watching TV. Yeah. You get me?
Yeah.
Do you feel that too?
Yeah. It's like I think like we were having this conversation earlier, you and I, about you went to a cabin, Airbnb, and the first thing as entrepreneurs, like, I wonder how much this person made with us booking today.
Yeah,
like, I wonder how much
a month, you know?
Yeah,
how many bookings he gets per month and stuff like that.
With your mind constantly running like that, it's a good thing, dude. Yeah. It captivates you, and you see, you look out for opportunities. But right now, I think what works really well is when that lady called you, for example, and she wanted the cold sparks. Basically, it was a consumer saying, this is what I need, this is my problem. Can you provide me with that solution? Can you provide with the cold sparks? So it's about listening to what people need. And then if you can check out the market to see who's providing that service that person's looking for, and it's not a saturated market, there's a golden opportunity. I had a lady ask me for a big, a quinceañera. It's like a big old throne. It's like a big chair. Like an oversized chair where like the main quinceañera girl sits on.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, I was like, I've seen them once or twice. I didn't know people actually would be interested in renting them. So then I thought to myself, okay, there's that. And then there's like the marquee letters, there's bouncers. There's just so many things that you can do to, like you did already on a scale, is diversify and bring in more rental equipment, which is good, Victor. You're on I want to see where you're gonna be like at least 1 year from now. People talk about like, I want to see you, what you gonna do 3 years, 5 years from now. Like, well, that's a long ass time. I was like, I can get a lot done in a year, you know, with modern day technology.
One big thing one thing that I've like, for the viewers as well, that I've been dealing with, that I just dealt with, was my booth, like kind of breaking in a way.
Yeah.
And like one of the bearings in the booth, like it broke, I guess, and so it wobbled. It wobbles now, right? So I had to find a factory who was able to fix that for me.
Yeah.
And then what I did with that event, that I had for that, like the event that I had coming up, that I wasn't able to use my booth.
Yeah.
Was that the outsourcing of the contractors.
Right.
Yeah. So like, if you guys don't have like, let's say you guys don't have an equipment, like a regular photo booth, right? You guys, one of the big things honestly is like having that confidence in yourself to reach out to another business owner who has a photo booth and like, hey, we're both photo booth owners and we're doing different like types of photo booths.
Yeah.
Why not work together? Yeah. You know, someone's gonna call you looking for a 360 and someone's gonna call me looking for a regular photo booth. Why not, you know, like team up?
Yeah.
And then I pass them on to you, you pass them on to me. You know, you guys both go together. Just have that confidence in yourselves to like know that you can be the leader and you can bring people together. So that's a big thing.
That's yeah. It's like having when you're playing video games, it's like having that extra life.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. One thing that I think that people should do too is once you made your money back, buy a secondary booth. It's always good to have a backup booth. And if you have a backup booth, not only can you use it for yourself, but if someone else needs the booth within your community, another contractor, you could rent them out the booth for $100.
That's true.
You know, you're helping them out, and it's only costing them $100, and they're able to come to you because they know you have an extra 2 to 3 booths. So that's the reason why I keep an extra set of booths. And when I go to events, man, I always try to have extra batteries, extra controllers, mounts, lights,
extra
cables.
everything.
Yeah,
Extra,
everything, man. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, Victor from the business name?
Lunacy Photo Rentals.
Lunacy Photo Booth Rentals?
Yeah, on Instagram, man.
Instagram. Go ahead and give people your Instagram, bro.
Yeah, so it's lunacy_360_photo rentals. Okay. Just getting those keywords in there.
All right, get those keywords in there. If you guys want to reach out to Victor, if you guys are in the area and you want to network with Victor and, you know, just help each other grow the business and also try to provide the service to as many clients in that area, reach out to Victor. You guys already know his story a little bit by diving into this video. My name is David Rodriguez. It was a true pleasure meeting here Victor and kind of like picking his brain a little bit and seeing the world from his eyes. So if you guys are interested in having an interview and you guys feel like you have flavor to bring to the table, please let me know. It's been a journey and I wish you the best of luck on your next event. Peace.
Peace, guys.
It's a wrap, Victor.
Damn. Oh, you're still live though, by the way.
What?
You're still live, by the way, over there.
Oh, shit.